Hi, guys. Hello, Hawkeye fans and Cyclone fans and Husker fans and anybody else who's out there today. Today, I'm doing a solo broadcast. It's not going to be super long today, but there is so much going on in the last 24 hours since Jason and I and Jasmine did our podcast yesterday morning. So much has happened since then. So many more details have broken on the gambling situation, and I wanted to bring you up to date on the most current Hawkeye football recruit, and we got a transfer portal person um, yesterday in the basketball program. Probably not going to make a lot of people happy. So let's do the easy stuff first. Let's get the easy stuff out of the way. Let's get the portal stuff out first, okay? Um, so we sign out of Belmont. We sign Even Bronze, okay, 6'9", 220 center slash forward. You know, this is what it looks like. He's only averaged 7 points a game. He's shot 583 on field goals, 69% at the free throw line. He was 42 with 61. He had 36 assists, 26 turnovers. He had 16 steals and 42 blocks. Um, also, I got this from another podcaster. I couldn't find it myself, but the other podcaster said 93% of his scored baskets came from within 3 feet of the basket. So he does most of his damage inside. He doesn't get outside much. We're used to people like Luca, Chris, and Keegan. Keegan, being able to pop outside and pop a three. This guy's not going to be able to do that. Um, Also, we're not looking. I know a lot of people are not happy about this. I'm not sure I'm happy about it myself, but you have to understand he's bringing him in as a role player. We just need to get 10, 15 minutes out of him per game, because I don't know Ben Cricky, who will probably be our starting center next year, can't log 40 minutes a game. So we need so if he can do 7 points a game. Oh, I forgot to put his rebounds down. I think he averaged 5 rebounds a game. Um, but if we can get him to give us 7 points, 5 rebounds, maybe a block here or a steal there, then I think that makes him serviceable. It makes him plus in the plus column score wise while he's in the game. What I don't want to see is him coming up and doing negative things, turning the ball over, not shooting, things like that. I don't know. We don't know if this guy can play Big Ten football. I mean, Big Ten basketball. We'll find out. Um, it's sad because now see our three big guys will be Even Bronze, Ben Cricky, and Riley McColvey. They'll be our three main guys. I have a feeling that we might see more Riley than we'll see Even next year. Riley knows the system. He's bulking up, as you guys saw this year. He bulked up from last year, and I'm sure he'll bulk up this year, get a little stronger, and if I'm him, I'm going to take to the basketball court, and I'm going to work on my game, work on my footwork, things to get. He showed a little flashes here and there, but he hasn't been the McColby we thought he would be. The first year I didn't expect much out of him because quite frankly he was a year early. He came a year earlier than he was supposed to. So um, that being said, I still like McColby. Um, Hopefully he'll work out, and he'll be the backup to Cricky next year. Um, and so that's where Even Bronze is. I know people are going to be upset with him, you know upset that we chose this guy. When we didn't get like we still got that other dude out there that everybody's clamoring for right now, the biggest, the latest name, but he has his sights set on the NBA. And did you see the teams that he has going against us for this guy? Illinois, the NBA, of course, Alabama. Some of those teams. Those are some teams that are probably a little bit better than Iowa and probably have a better shot at getting them. And I just learned that 75% of all the Swarm money is earmarked toward football. Basketball right now has, from what I heard, and this was verified by one of my one of our listeners and one of our posters, that there is no NIL money for basketball right now, men's basketball. Um, so that being said, I mean, that's sad. I mean, we need to get some, we want our basketball program to be there too. So if we could take some of that money earmarked for football, put some of it toward um, basketball, men's basketball. I heard the women's basketball is set pretty good for NIL money. The only problem is Lisa can't get anybody to respond to her. She goes after the big names and nobody will respond to her. Um, yeah. So anyhow, and from what I hear from the Swarm CEO Brad Heinrich, Fran is working tirelessly, guys. He's working really hard in the portal. He's working really hard on the recruiting trail um, to get his people. But when he's up against no money, it's hard. It's hard, really. It's really hard for this guy. Right now, we have one basketball commit for 2024 class. His name is Cooper Koch. Now I got it. It's spelled, J.R. Koch. You guys remember him when that's the son of J.R. It's spelled Koch. When I grew up, I had friends that lived across the street from me. They spelled their name Koch, but we called them Cook, just for the record. Okay. All right. Iowa's football picked up another offensive tackle out of Illinois. I believe that's the third one. Is Illinois not recruiting these guys? Or are we just recruiting better than Brett Bielema is at Illinois? Because picking up 3 offensive linemen from out of the state of Illinois. This guy is his name is Will Nolan. He's 6'6", 275 right now. He's ranked 61 nationally at his position and 16th in the state of Illinois. And so I think that's just kind of like we got some. Sounds like we're getting some pretty decent. And of course, hopefully he'll be closer to 300 pounds when he actually gets to campus and plays. Of course, they bulk up the right way. Don't put on 300 pounds by eating greasy hamburgers all day. That won't help. Okay, so all right. Well, I took care of the easy news, guys. Chad Lysico said this morning, and he's got it from a reliable source, and if Chad prints it, I trust that Chad's discretion. But the number one recruit in Iowa's 2023 class of in wrestling has now flipped over to Iowa State. Cody Chittum. I guess he had a run-in with one of the Ferrari brothers and refuses to wrestle with them at Iowa. The way I look at this could hurt potentially Iowa in the long run, because if the Ferrari brothers bring that much baggage with them, that they're chasing off teammates, you're supposed to get along with your teammates, guys. There's a brotherhood, You might not always like each other or get along with each other or anything like that, but you're a brotherhood, and you don't do stuff that's chase somebody off the team because of, whatever it was. But obviously they had a run-in, and I thought, first of all, Anthony Ferrari, he's the middle. I believe he's the middle one, and he's the one that's actually committed to Iowa. And I heard rumors about the older brother. I don't know anything about the younger brother. That the older brother, who won a title at Oklahoma or Oklahoma State, I forget which one, was coming too, because he had gotten kicked off the team or quit the team and then took a year or 2 off. And so I heard he was coming back too. But the fact that Chad used the word Ferrari brothers, that tells me that there's at least 2 of them on campus right now. So could that hurt? Because, if these guys have that much of a trouble pass as you do, guys with trouble passes don't always work out in any sport. They usually don't even last a full season, or if they do last a full season, they don't come back for whatever reason. They've been asked to leave, or they quit, or they got arrested, something along those lines. Okay. And so am I convinced that the Ferrari brothers are going to be around for their whole career, that they got eligibility left? No, I'm not. And so what this did to me is I feel like we lost the number one recruit, and we won't have him now because he'll be at Iowa State. And so that bothers me a lot, guys, that We're not going to have our number one recruit because I don't think the other guys are going to be around for the duration. You know. Okay. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys. Iowa moved up to number 14 in the composite 2024 rankings with this this latest signing. Okay. I think okay. So you guys, we're here to talk a little bit about the gambling. Okay. So let me bring it up, up to speed. There's like for Iowa alone, there's like 26 current one staff person and student athletes and student staff that are under investigation for gambling. And the DCI now calls it criminal, and it's a criminal investigation now, as well as NCAA. They'll be under investigation for NCAA for their rule violations. And now the DCI is involved, which because there's some criminal activity. Criminal activity would probably be underage gambling, but that would also not only be the problem I see of a person who's gambled who was underage, but the person who took the bet. They have to know that they have to verify these people are 21. Okay. Some names have come out. I'm not going to name any names that I've heard and rumors of certain situations because the biggest thing there is it's an investigation, both a criminal and NCAA investigation, and so I don't want to put any names out there that I've heard personally until they're verified. I know they have been the investigators have named them. Iowa hasn't released those names, and probably for good reason. They're not releasing those names for I feel for one, right now privacy. Two, in case they've been found, they've been found unfounded allegations. So they're just allegations right now. So eventually I believe we'll find out who the people are involved. Like I said, I've heard 3 or 4 names already out there in specific situations. I'm betting, but that's where I'm going to leave it. No names here. And if you guys do want to type a comment or anything, and you know a name or two, don't throw it out there. Let's just leave the names off of this broadcast. You can privately message me if you have a name that you want to share. Okay. And so the one thing I did hear is that most of what it was betting on South Carolina Final Four game, because Iowa was like a 12 or 11 point dog in that game. And of course, that you put some money on that game, you would probably make some decent money at that as that much of a dog, at least. So okay, so I want to share with you a couple of things that came out today, because you guys know most of it already. I mean, not all of it is great stuff. Okay, so here's the first one. Okay, the DCI is the Criminal Division of Criminal Investigation. The DCI is involved in an ongoing investigation concerning criminal violations related to sports wagering and including individuals affiliated with the University of Iowa and Iowa State University. The DCI has been in contact with officials from both universities who are cooperating. At this time, no criminal charges have been filed. That's another reason for no names. And further information will be released. The DCI is working cooperatively with the Iowa Racing and Gaming Commission concerning any potential regulatory violations. So there's that. Here's another one I want to share with you guys. Let me bring it up. Okay, this one might be a little bit lengthy, but this is an article that Dargan Southard of the Des Moines Register wrote, based on everything you need to know about the NCAA sports betting stance and potential punishment and more. Okay, and so it just says right now that Monday's bombshell news that 40-plus student athletes at Iowa and Iowa State are being investigated for sports betting brought on more questions than answers. Right, we all got questions. We all want to know what they did, and how's it going to affect our season later on? How's it going to affect the football season for the football players involved? We all want to know that. We're not going to find that out yet. A large part of the uncertainty centers around Fresh, the above-ground intersection between Sports gambling, college athletes still is. Although NCAA has had betting guidelines in place for some time, it's been nearly 4 years since Iowa legalized sports betting in August 2019. So who didn't see this coming, guys? You know, I'm surprised it took this long because it's probably been going on since 2019 season. Okay, the increased accessibility has made it more prevalent and concern ever than before. With that, here are a handful of frequently asked questions. Okay, here are the questions. What is the NCAA stance on sports betting for student athletes? Don't bet on it. As long as it's been the NCAA's catchphrases, has long been the NCAA's catchphrase. Okay, um, and so yeah, for wagering. And so, what organization considers a violation stated below? The NCAA is committed to protecting student athletes as well being the integrity of the competition. The NCAA website reads: NCAA sports wagering rules do not allow student athletes or athletes employees to bet on any sport sponsored by the NCAA at any level, including college and or professional, and no shared information for sports wagering purposes. Now, this is what the Alabama coach got fired for, guys. It's a little bit different than what the investigation for Alabama, because I don't think any student athletes were involved in the Alabama. The coach was fired for sharing information about who the starting pitcher was going to be. He was seen on the phone talking to, I believe, a bookie, and so there was a couple of bets placed that looked suspicious. So that their was in, whatever it was, their gaming commission probably was involved in that, and so that's the reason why there's a little bit different. But that's what they did, is the coach provided some information. What happened here? Hang on, let me go back. Okay, all right. So let's go back. Where is going on here? Oh, this website's playing a funny thing. Anyway, so they can't bet on things like the NFL, NBA, NBL, MHL, all professional soccer leagues, along with the most obvious other college sports that are off limits for NCAA student athletes. Some of the exceptions include NASCAR, UFC, and horse racing. Now, I heard there was a lot of horse race betting going on. If that's the case, that's apparently legal. So they can bet on horses. Okay. And so if that's the case, because I heard that a lot of what was going on was horse racing betting. So we'll see if that's true or not. Okay. You cannot pass any information about your team as a student athlete to someone else is considered a relation, and you can't pass on information about the other team that information you may be aware of. Man, this is stupid. Okay. All right. Okay. And they also cannot vote it. They cannot play in fantasy leagues, March Madness brackets, Super Bowl squares, Calcutta sports pools, online sports bets, sports betting apps, parlay and prop bets, live in game betting, and single game sports bets. They can't do any of that, guys. So okay, all right. What NCAA's punishment if a student athlete or athlete employee is caught betting? It's pretty vague, guys. It's done on a case by case basis. According to this, they will be so student athletes are considered ineligible for competition. Um, Employees or coaches, which is all of this again, guys, is decided by case basis. Coaches and staff are subject to penalties, and and up to the school if the school wants to fire them, but they'll get discipline and corrective action as outlined by the governing rules of the NCAA infractions process. What punishments previously for student athletes being caught? Here's a good one. The NCAA suspended Virginia Tech linebacker Alan Tisdale for 9 games last season after he self-reported gambling activity on the NBA that reportedly totaled a little over more than $400. The suspension later was reduced to 6 games on appeal. Tisdale's eligibility issue was announced prior to the start of the 2022 season, so he missed the first 6 games. And so that, did that hurt Virginia Tech? I have no idea. In 2017, 5 Richmond baseball players were suspended before the start of the season for sports wagering. While there are no indications of point shaving or game fixing, the suspensions were still a bit lengthy, and 4 of the players didn't return until early April, missing 27 games in total. The fifth player wasn't reinstated until prior to the 2018 season. Okay. In 2003, we all know about Washington coach Rick Neuheisel, who was fired after participating in a neighborhood NCAA tournament pool. Just a pool for 2 years, guys. Just a pool. These guys aren't allowed. I mean, no. Anyway, he also lied about his actions, and so that's another thing that cost him probably his job. If he'd been up front, maybe he would have had his job. Okay. It's important to note, though, guys, that according to the Iowa statement, no current or former coaches are suspected of gambling. Okay. Um, and the other thing, too, I want to say, because they mentioned point shaving in this previous one. According to one of the articles that was sent by Chad Lysico, there is no indication by the DCI that anybody point shaved or bet on any games involving a team that they were playing that week. In other words, nobody bet on, nobody bet on the Iowa State game. Supposedly, no student athlete bet on the Iowa State game, and when they were playing that week. And there was rumors that someone did, but that rumor turned out to be false. So we're not naming names there. Okay. In 1995, the NCAA suspended Maryland quarterback Scott Melanovich for 8 games after learning he bet on college sporting events. 3 other Turpin football players were suspended 1 game for betting on football parlay cards. Maryland basketball player was suspended for 20 games for betting on a college sport, so he missed most of the season. Okay, other betting scandals, including one with Boston College basketball in the late 70s and Arizona State basketball in 1994. But remember, guys, that was the year when criminal activity, organized crime was involved in that, and that's what led to a lot of the rules that we have at NCAA today. Is there any indication that point shaving or game fixing is involved among the Iowa State athletes? No, and that's a big distinction from the Alabama. Like we told you guys before, that was a point shaving deal. Okay, so well, not like so much a point shaving deal, but it was giving out information to let them know that their starting pitcher wasn't going to start that day, and they were using a relief pitcher to start. So, and Alabama lost that game. Okay, all right. I think there was the bets. I think the 2 bets were for LSU to win that game. Okay. So the biggest distinction is again, guys, it's important to know. So this might help with later on when punishments are dialed out, that maybe some of our players won't get as long as suspension, because they're probably all going to get suspended at some point for some games. Okay. But probably won't get as long as of a deal if they were betting on a game that they were actually playing in. It's for all games. They were betting on games they did not involve them. Okay. And like we said, I had read somewhere where most of it was the South Carolina Final Four game that they put their money on. So that's what that one is. Okay. I know that it's like a big deal here. It's a scandal. It's another scandal. I mean, Iowa survived the racist scandal, which is now over, thanks to the settlement that Iowa agreed to. Will they survive the gambling? Yeah, they might. We don't know. We have to see first where this investigation goes, and I think if the DCI is involved, they're going to do their due diligence. So we may not know. My personal opinion is we may not know for a while. Wow, who's involved? What the punishments are going to be? And so that may take a while, guys, because they're not exactly known for speed in investigations like that. So because number one, they want to get it right. If they're going to file charges against somebody, they got to get it right. All right. I got a couple other things I wanted to share real quick. Let me get to that. Okay. Well, Hang on, let me try it this way. This might be another way to try it. I didn't write it down, guys, because I knew it was all on my phone and I knew exactly where I wanted to go to get it. So bear with me, okay? Um, okay. Oh yeah. The potential transfer I talked about was from North Dakota State. His name is Grant Nelson. That's the one I think Iowa doesn't have enough money for to sign. So I think that's the reason why we signed the kid from Belmont, because I think Iowa knows they don't have enough money to get this guy because he's going to go in 6, 7 figures. Iowa doesn't have that kind of money. And besides, Iowa likes to pay their students that are on campus enrolled in classes first. And they probably have to sell these guys on the fact that you need to get in campus, you need to get rolled, and then we'll get you some money, and then we'll work with you, get you more money. Okay. So yeah, you guys have all seen everybody has seen the statements by the Iowa itself, the NCAA. I read you the DCI's comment this morning. I read you um, Dargan Souther's article on the questions about the NCAA potential punishments. So that's one thing to keep in note too, guys, is make sure that you guys understand that this is going to be on a case by case basis. So that's going to take probably some time to get it sorted out, because there's 26 players. They got to go through everybody and find out the seriousness of what they did. Is it super serious? Is it just like minor infractions? Like maybe slap your hand for one game or something. All right. I think honestly, I think that's about where I'm at right now with it. It's just the final thing I'd just like to say is that I'm kind of hurt that my school is, my college is going through this. It's a school that's been relatively controversial free for most of its life. And, doesn't cheat. These guys don't cheat. These guys do things the right way. Our current set of coaches and athletic staff. And so it just hurts to see that Iowa and Iowa State are both involved in this. Two state schools. I hope this doesn't have any ramifications for games later on. I hope it doesn't have any ramification for current and future recruits and portal people coming to Iowa. I hope that we don't lose them over this. And I hope there's no penalties for either school as far as you can't play in a bowl game, or you get scholarships reduced, because the one thing that they did say is that no current staff member is involved. Okay, so keep that in mind. No current coaches that's what it is. No coaches are involved. No current coaches are involved. So that helps. There was they did say they're investigating one full-time athlete staff member. I don't know who that is. Could he cost Iowa postseason play? Could he cost Iowa scholarships in the long run? We don't know. Okay, so that's where we're at. I'm just going to leave it there. But I just wanted to bring this because we did that 1 hour podcast yesterday with Jason and I and Jasmine, and we didn't say a lot about the gambling because at that time no information was out yet. And so we didn't want to talk about it until we had more information. So here I am talking about it today because more information has been released, but and still we can't. It's just as far as I'm concerned, it's probably going to be a dead subject until they get done with the investigation and we find out what's all going on there. Because, because until we get more information, we don't know. We don't know how it affects the season. We don't know how it affects games. We don't know all the people involved, and we don't know what they bet on. And so keep all that in mind, guys. I mean, it's sad to be disappointed. It's okay to be disappointed and sad and even mad that this happened, because these kids are taught better. They know better than to do this, and sooner or later your hand always gets caught in the cookie jar. You can get away with stuff for so long, but you're never going to get away with it forever. So let's keep that in mind too. But anyway, enjoy the rest of your guys' day. Thank you to the two people currently watching. I appreciate it. You could have commented anytime you wanted to. That would have been all right with me. And I would have commented back for you. But however, I'm going to end this podcast now and say, hey, you guys have a great day. Let's hope that we start getting more positive news that we get and things don't get worse than they already are. So take care and keep watch. Oh yeah, keep watching my website, Iowa Hawkeye Sports on Facebook for all up to date information. We have over 6,500 people on that page, and it's a pretty good page. It's for the most part it's negative free. We try to keep the negative out. It's spam free. We keep most of the spam out. It's pretty friendly discussion, pretty discussion where people actually can disagree without getting angry at each other, calling names and stuff. And so it's really positive website as far as that goes. The other thing is I want to point out is please subscribe to this YouTube channel. We can get you more better and quality videos in the future. I know that we're amateurish now, but we can get better later on um, when things start working better. When we start getting more videos out there, we get more people, and I get paid for these videos. Then when I get paid for these videos, I have some cash, and maybe if I got more people, I can attract a couple of sponsors to help with that. And then we can do clean edit videos. We can do more professionalism and stuff. But for now, all I get is these raw live videos for you guys, and I hope that's good enough for you guys for right now. But yeah, and please share this. Hit the subscribe button, hit like or the bell so you get notified when I go live. Um, share this video with everybody. Just share it. Share the heck out of it. Share it with all your Hawkeye friends. Like I said yesterday, somebody shared like it to 50 people, and so we got a little bit of a boost in our subscribers, but not a huge boost out of it. But he shared it. But at least he shared it, and a few people, took, decided to go ahead and subscribe. So hopefully we can do that with this. So share it with your friends. You guys have a great day. Today's Tuesday, May 9th, and so you take care. Bye.